What? Damage protection, that's what. What's up, guys? It's Drew. And yes, what you just saw there is the result of damage protection. End of video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care. I'm kidding. But yeah, what you saw there was a direct result of the damage protection routine built into UMK3. The very nature of its routine is to reduce the amount of damage taken in a combo, and yet, I just got killed by Sub-Zero's freeze, which is a zero damage move. There are other examples of it happening as well, which you're seeing right now. And while it is rare for it to happen to end a round, it's not odd at all for it to happen during regular gameplay. But I wanted to get to the bottom of why it happened and how in the game's code. Why not dive in? Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, on its kind of buggy surface, is the kind of game that only a mother, well, your mother, or a rabid fanboy could love. Being the latter, I decided to jump into the code and see what I could find out. So the first thing that we have to understand is what damage protection and, as well, double damage protection is and why it's here. With the auto combo system that came in MK3 and later Ultimate MK3, it became necessary to scale damage on attacks, otherwise any kind of pop-up combo could do devastating amounts of damage. With the advent of jump starter combos in UMK3, it was even more necessary. Without it, characters with a high damage output and pop-up combo would be able to do 100% plus damage combos on their opponents without even having to go through all of the hits. So now we'll step through the code, as well as provide examples of how damage protection, as well as double damage protection, is triggered. Set a breakpoint to pause emulation when the damage protection routine starts. This will allow us to go through the code line by line. On the screen right now is Player 2's object thread, as well as the debugger window, the game window of course, and text outlining each operation. In this example, with Kano landing a jump kick against Scorpion while Scorpion is grounded, we will see the damage protection routine run. The 160 hex offset value of the object thread is moved into register A14. Then an OR immediate of 800 hex is performed on the value in A14. And as we see A14 update, the routine now jumps to address FF9B08E0, where the value in A14 is moved back to the 160 hex offset of the object thread. Now, this is a bit of a digression, but the 160 hex value is used for several items in this game. It's evaluated here for damage protection, but it's also used for determining if a shadow is cast or if the character is even visible. Watch as I manipulate this value. If I manipulate this value to 0.2, as you can see here, Scorpion no longer casts a shadow. And I can give Scorpion his shadow back. And I can also make Scorpion invisible. Reptile and Robot Smoke's moves for invisibility trigger a value change on the 160 hex value, allowing this to happen. So let's put Scorpion back where he belongs. It's also used at round end to allow the character to clip through the stages when falling down, so they fall normally and don't push back into the screen. This is also how one of my favorite tricks, the off-screenality, is performed. Beginning your move prior to the match ending, but the move hitting the opponent after the match is officially over, and the value of the 160 hex offset is updated, allowing the character to move through boundaries. Check it out.
Kano wins. Flawless victory.
But to get back on topic, that's how damage protection is set. Now here are some other examples of other attacks that set damage protection. As I mentioned earlier, a jump kick against a grounded opponent. Pop-up combos, with a glaring exception that I'll share with you in a moment. Any pop-up, regardless of hits, as being demonstrated by Kano. the last hit of an auto combo, with two glaring exceptions that again I will share with you. And then certain special attacks, including the male ninja teleport. But with this one, it doesn't matter if the opponent is grounded or in the air, damage protection is still set. Now, for those glaring auto combo examples. If you've played this game any length of time, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In Sub-Zero's 6-hit combo, if he's human controlled, it does less damage than the CPU. The same thing happens again with Jade's 7-hit combo. But why? It's simple, damage protection. Instead of being triggered after the last hit of the combo, in these cases is triggered after the 3rd hit of each of these combos. When a human player does this, there's code to evaluate if a hit in a combo should cause damage protection. However, the CPU character routines aren't bound to this code, so more damage is done in these combos. Now this is patched in a certain ROM hack of the game, so that the CPU does the same damage as a human player would. And now for that other glaring example. I have a breakpoint set again for the damage protection trigger, and Liu Kang doing a pop-up combo. But wait, the damage protection routine didn't trigger. Why? So let's set up a breakpoint in the reaction routine for pop-up hits. Okay. So what we're looking at now is the reaction routine for pop-up hits. Specifically, we're stopped on the operation that is comparing register A0 for a value of D hex, which is Liu Kang's character ID. So let's examine that routine. The first thing that happens is that Liu Kang's object thread is brought in and his character ID examined. If the character doing the combo is in fact Liu, here we go, he gets double damage protection applied to the rest of his combo hits. The 160 hex offset of Scorpion's object thread gets an OR immediate of 1000 hex this time, which is later used in determining how the attacks apply damage. And then the reaction routine continues as normal. The developers must have had their reasoning for doing this specifically for Liu Kang, and not for the other characters. So why not take a look? So for the first combo, Liu will do a pretty standard 5-hit combo with double damage protection triggered as normal. And in the second one, the pop-up only triggers standard damage protection. And you'll see with that, he gets a 9% increase in damage, so not a ton. Now let's try with a high-level corner combo. Double damage protection first, then regular. So 45%. Not bad. A lot of work. And now with standard damage protection. Same combo. 69%. Nice. 24% increase. So let's put all that together. Here we see Liu doing a jump kick on a standing Scorpion, triggering damage protection. His follow-up, a high kick, will do half damage since damage protection is active. Now we can step through this code to see how the damage protected hits translate to the life bar. The 160 hex value doesn't pass the bit test for double damage protection, so it's tested for damage protection. It passes the test. The value in register A10, the damage of a high kick, is cut in half, subtracted from the current health in A1, and moved back to the character's life bar memory location. So that's great and all, but how does it explain this?
Sub-Zero wins.
Simple. Oh, sorry. Not really. Alright, let's do this again. Sub-Zero jump kicks a grounded Scorpion, activating damage protection. That's the first break you see. Next, with damage protection active, Sub-Zero connects a freeze and hits Scorpion. Even 0 damage hits are subjected to the damage protection bit test. So once again, the 160 hex value of Scorpion's object thread is evaluated. It doesn't pass the bit test for double damage protection, but it does pass the bit test for damage protection. So the damage amount in A10, which is 0, is cut in half. SRA, or Shift Right Absolute, cuts the value in half. The next instruction, JRNE, or Jump Relative Not Equal, is evaluating the value in A10. So if the value in A10 is not 0, jump to apply damage. Since the value of A10 is 0, the next instruction places a value of 1 hex in A10 and subtracts 1 hex from Scorpion's life bar. This gives Scorpion 0 health, and this is how Scorpion dies from a 0 damage move. So you might ask, why doesn't this happen more often? If 0 damage moves cause damage with damage protection activated, why don't we see this more during gameplay? Well, the truth is, it happens a lot, but with the fast pace of gameplay, along with only 1 unit of damage being reduced from a total of 166, full life is A6 hex, or 166 in decimal. It's barely noticeable, if at all. In fact, I would contend that the only time it's this noticeable is when it actually occurs, causing a 0 health scenario. For this to happen, the move triggering damage protection, and remember, there aren't a ton of those to begin with, has to bring the opponent to exactly 1 unit of health remaining. The check for 0 damage from a move when damage protection or double damage protection is triggered is there, so no attacks end up doing 0 damage to a character. But even the least damaging of moves, crouching low punch and crouching low kick, won't be 0 damage, even if double damage protection is active. These moves do 6 units of damage each, and even when cut into quarter, still do 1 damage. The only thing I could think of would be some auto combo hits or special moves that could be blocked on wake up doing so little damage with damage protection still activated, they would need to have 1 unit put in to prevent being halved or quartered into 0. For example, 3 units of damage cut into half via damage protection is 1, since there are no fractions. 3 cut into quarter would be 0, needing a bump up to 1. As the developers coded this, unfortunately there was no provision for moves already being 0 damage, regardless of damage protection, so these 0 damage attacks do end up doing damage, and can cause a victory or a loss, depending on which side you're standing on. Alright everybody, well, thanks for watching this. I know it's quite a bit longer than most every other videos I've done. I had a lot of fun doing it. I know the editing and stuff is probably a mess, but I really enjoyed it, and I hope you guys like these too. I plan to do more of them if they get good feedback, so let me know in the comments what you might want to see on something like this in the future. And stay tuned as soon as I'm done. There's some bonus stuff at the end, so don't quit out just yet. Thanks guys for watching. Enjoy the bonus footage, and see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, so what we're going to see here first is Cabal doing a standard bread and butter combo for him mid-screen. 7 hits, 30% damage. And what I'm going to do now, as you see in the main CPU window, is I am performing some modification, just no operations or no op, that 0300 code. And what that's going to do is that is going to not cause damage protection to set up. And now we see that same combo, instead of 30%, does 47% damage. And now we have a little bit more damaging combo with Cabal. 10 for 56. That's with damage protection. And now, as you'll see here, wiping out damage protection in the code. And this one's going to be flat out devastating. Goes from 56% to 88%. So if you ever wondered why we needed damage protection in a game, that's why. So now we have Kano, and something you might notice there is silent combat. That's thank you to Midway and Warner Brothers. so we don't have to worry about any potential copyright strikes on this video. Here's a nice high-level Kano combo. It does more than 52% damage. The combo readout is not 100% accurate in UMK3 revision 1.2, which is what this video is on. But you see there, it did a whole lot more damage when there was no damage protection involved. And of course, it wouldn't be one of my videos without some high-level human smoke combos coming at you. So here's a nice human smoke corner combo. And that's going to do around 59-60% damage with damage protection set. And now we're going to do the same thing where we just no-op the piece of code that causes damage protection. And I think you'll be surprised here. Probably not, but same combo, same number of hits, same hits, and it ends up being just a little bit over 100% damage.